In this video, I'm going to show you how to master the kettlebell swing and avoid the most common mistakes people make to help you prevent injury and unlock the full benefits of this powerful exercise. The kettlebell is a hinging exercise. It's a hinging exercise working your posterior chain. This is the muscles you sit into, your hamstrings, your glutes, your hips, your lower back muscles, your core to some extent. You need a flat surface, at least 1 meter square, and ideally you're going to wear stable, flat-soled shoes like this. That's weightlifting shoes, something like plimsolls, or this is a martial arts trainer, or you can go barefoot. And you want to avoid unstable, cushiony soled shoes like this, cardio trainers, okay? So that's what you kind of want to wear as footwear. So you're going to start with your feet hip width apart, with your toes facing forward, and the kettlebell is going to be about 1/2 meter in front of you. So this is the start position. We come down, keeping our backs straight, not rounding your back. That's the biggest mistake people make with the kettlebell swing. So we come down, the kettlebell is 1/2 meter in front of you, and you tilt the handle towards you. So the kettlebell's tilted, so when we lift it, it's going to naturally swing back like that. Keep your chest up and your shoulders back, hinging at the hips. And as you swing back, your arms should be pointing through your legs. And this is the important bit, connected to your body. We start like this, connect here. When you come back, all of your arms want to be connected to your body like this. You don't want gaps here. And we'll talk about that a bit further down the line. So as you swing back, your arms should be pointing through your legs and connected to your body. And it's this connection that enhances your hip power transfer and maintains a stable swing. Remember, the power comes from your hips, not your arms, and as you thrust your hips forward, the kettlebell will naturally swing up. Now at the top of the movement, you're going to contract your glutes, which helps you achieve a full hip extension. Sometimes we call this a hip snap. No, you're not going to snap them, but it's literally like there, boom, and they snap into position. You squeeze the glutes, you squeeze your tummy. So at the top of the swing, you contract your glutes, which helps you achieve full hip extension, which generates maximum power and also ensures that your back is protected. And repeat this technique, ensuring you keep every rep the same. I'll just summarize that. You get in position, you get a swing back, you get a connection, push through. Connect, push through. And I keep my shoulders back, meaning I'm not being pulled forward like that. And I keep my back straight. I'm connecting, suck my tummy in on the way down, squeezing my glutes on the way up. Repeating myself, my grip is firm, but my arms are relaxed, swinging and loose like ropes. Let me just remind you of these teaching points. I've got to read it here because I forget. It's a hinging exercise. You're going to hinge at the hips. So the power comes from the hips and not the arms. Make sure on the downswing you connect your arms with the body, keeping your back straight. And maintain controlled and rhythmic breathing. Breathing in, suck your tummy in, breathe out, squeeze your glutes. Remember, this is a full body exercise that focuses on strengthening your posterior chain, and that means foolproofing your hips, foolproofing your back for the future, plus you'll get excellent strength building, strength endurance, and of course, you'll get great cardiovascular conditioning without impacting your joints. And these are the most common mistakes people make that you need to avoid. The first mistake people make is you see them using their arms too much. You see connected the arms, so they think it's something to do with lifting. And as the kettlebell comes down, it's kind of like a J shape. As the kettlebell comes down, here it comes down, you keep your back straight, your arms connect with your body, and you're loading up your posterior chain here, okay? Almost, it's not similar, but it's kind of similar. As if you're going to do a box jump or you're going to jump up on something. You're loading up like a spring. And then instead of jumping upwards, you're squeezing your glutes, extending your hips, and the hips lock out, the glutes squeeze, the tummy's tight, and so the energy has to transfer out into your arms, okay? So you're not doing like this, lifting, lifting, lifting. If you want to get a bad back, that's the way to do it. Or you're not doing squatting. You're not squatting. You're not squatting. You're hinging. Hinging. And at the end of these tips, I'll show you a little way, if you can't get your head around that, to make you hopefully understand what I mean. So this is probably the most common thing people do wrong with kettlebell swings, okay? Apart from realizing that it's a hinging exercise. The most common thing is, instead of your arms connecting with your body, when it comes down, there's a gap between the arms and the body. So what's that going to do? Well, that means instead of transferring the weight as it comes down into your posterior chain, remember what I said before, like you were loading up to jump? Because your arms are connected, so the energy coming down connects. If it's not connected, there's a space. I'll try to show you. So there's a gap between my arms there. What that's going to do is going to drag you down, literally. It's going to drag you forward, the same as if when you're swinging, instead of your arms being pulled back and you're looking down here, if your arms are too far forward, when it comes down, it's going to pull you off balance, okay? So if there's a gap between your arms and your body, one, you're not going to transfer the power efficiently, and two, you're going to possibly hurt yourself, okay? So, look, if you're not used to this, after the first few sessions, you might feel a bit of tightness in your lower back, and that's to be expected, yeah? We're trying to work and we're trying to fix and strengthen your posterior chain. But in the beginning, until like your hips and your glutes have got stronger, you might feel it in the lower back, okay? But if you're feeling it in the lower back as you're going along, that's a big no-no. One other thing that a mistake that people often do, well, not a mistake, it's just poor technique, is this. I'm going to do 3 swings twice, and they're going to both be different, so see if you can notice what I'm doing wrong the second time. Here comes the first one. Okay, that was the first one, and this is where a lot of people, it's not doing something wrong, it's just they could be doing it better, okay? Did you notice what it was? It was that my knees, your knees should stay in line with your toes, okay? The knees aren't going out the side. But sometimes when people are not used to going back into their hips that far, maybe because the hips are weak, or maybe because they just don't have the flexibility, people go out in the knees instead of hiking back a bit more, okay? So, just want to throw that in there. Keep your knees in line with your toes. So that's the basic teaching techniques of the kettlebell swing, and having consistent form throughout each rep is really important. So now I'm going to get some different weights. I'm going to do 10 swings with each kettlebell. We're going to go up from 8 kg all the way up to 32 kg, and I'm going to try to show you how important it is to keep your technique correct, whatever weight you're using. And remember, this is a high rep exercise. We're not really talking about doing 5 or 10 reps. You could be doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 150, all depends. I worked in gyms and clubs in London for about 10 years. I took kettlebell classes and also did a kettlebell induction for people. And normally when I showed people to swing, people picked it up after me telling the points, telling them the teaching points that I just told you. People normally pick it up after 10 to 15 minutes. But sometimes I've spent half an hour, 40 minutes with people and they're just not getting the swing, right? And this is really important, golden knowledge. And the main fact is because they don't get that it's a hinging exercise, okay? We're hinging at the hips and we're coming back. So this is a really good drill to learn that it's nothing to do with the arms, it's nothing to do with pulling, it's not a squat. So if you grab a hand towel like that, and you thread it through the handles, and then you're going to hold the kettlebell like that, thumbs facing down, okay? So we're going to stand here. You're not going to lift your arms or swing with your arms just hanging there. What we're going to do is tilt back and rock back and forward from your hips, and hopefully you're going to understand, if you haven't got it, what the swing is so far, that it's coming from your hips. It's this hinging motion. All right, so take the kettlebell, make sure it's a strong towel. I'm not going to lift with my arms and do that. I'm not lifting and swinging like this. I'm just letting my arms hang there and I'm folding back. Tummy in, squeeze the bum. Tummy in, squeeze the bum. And can you see the kettlebell starts rocking back and forward, back and forward. It's all coming from the hips. So the more I push with the hips, the more I can feel it swinging. Arms connect, hinge, push through. Connect, hinge, push through. Can you see that? Grab a towel and hinge from the hips and rock forward and backwards from the hips. So you can understand that it's a ballistic hinging exercise. So let's do 10 swings together now. Thinking about what we just learned. How to start, kettlebell comes back, we load up, we push through, get ready. We're going to go down, we're going to grip the handle, breathe in. And park it down. How did that feel? Remember, practice makes perfect. This is an exercise I highly recommend you spend a lot of time perfecting. Let's do another 10. Start with half a meter in front of you. Again, coming down. Tilt the handle back, connect, breathe in, push through, push through. Well done, and park it down. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm not going to talk about this for too long, about what weight you should be using. Now, I have competition kettlebells, they're steel kettlebells, and this one's 28 kg, for example, and this one's 16 kg, but you can see the size remains the same. But these are stainless steel, and they're hollow. Okay, so the size stays the same on a competition kettlebell, but the weight changes. What's the point of that? Well, if you're getting a little bit more serious into kettlebells and you're going to start doing single arm exercises, cleans, presses, jerks and snatches, as you go up and down in weight, it's great because the kettlebell ergonomics and the size and the shape are the same. Now this is an iron kettlebell. It's a professional kettlebell, but this is an iron one, it's solid. So when these change in weight, the size will also change, okay? If you had a 8 kg of one of these, they're the pink ones, and it would be the same size as this. If you have the choice, I would buy a competition kettlebell. But if you're doing things like squats, you know, just basic, simple things, deadlifts, two-handed deadlifts, two-handed swings, it doesn't really matter about the quality. I mean, you even go and see in the supermarket plastic ones. At the end of the day, if you're doing something quite simple, you can get away with a poor quality kettlebell. But if you're a little bit more serious and you want to get into a bit deeper, I would buy a quality competition kettlebell. Now, what weight? Now, I don't want to say for women and for men, because some women are stronger than some men and some men are weaker, etc., etc. But listen, if you're not used to exercise, I would swing minimum an 8 kg kettlebell. And if you're the average guy or woman who's quite fit, there's nothing wrong with you, you just need to shape up, I would go for a 12 or a 16 with two hands. Obviously, the heavier the kettlebell, the more intense the swings are going to be. I don't really want people to swing with an 8, I'd say from a 10 upwards, but if you're going to swing with an 8 or less, it's quite light, and you don't feel the weight, and that could then lead you to make mistakes. You'll get away with it. Now, when you have a heavier kettlebell, you are forced to really focus on good technique, because if you don't, you're going to hurt yourself. Did that kind of make sense? Now, if you've got a question, because I'm sure I've already missed out something, ask me. And now you're on your way to mastering this amazing exercise. Why don't you give this workout? It's a follow-along workout for some kettlebell swings with me. Why don't you give it a try? You don't give it a go, you'll never know. Take care of yourself.